A UK ban on selling arms to Israel would only strengthen Hamas, the Foreign Secretary has told the BBC. Lord Cameron said while he would not support a major ground offensive in the Gazan city of Rafah, the UK would not copy US plans to stop some arms sales. He said the UK supplies just 1% of Israel's weapons and warned Israel must do more to protect civilians and allow humanitarian aid through. Labour's Jonathan Ashworth said he not want British-made arms used in Rafah. This week, U.S. President Joe Biden upended part of one of the world's most significant strategic relationships by saying the U.S. are not supplying the weapons if Israel went ahead with a planned invasion of Rafah, the southern Gazan city where about 1.4 million people have been sheltering. The UN says more than 80,000 people have fled Rafah since Monday, with Israeli tanks reportedly massed close to built-up areas. Israel has said it will proceed with planned operations in Rafah despite the U.S. and other allies warning that a ground offensive could lead to mass civilian casualties and a humanitarian crisis. Its Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, has pledged to eliminate Hamas battalions he claims are based in Rafah. Speaking on Sunday with Laura Quinsberg, Lord Cameron said he would not support a full-scale offensive on Rafah until he saw Israel's plan to protect people. But he argued the U.S. is in a totally different position to the UK because it is a massive state supplier of weaponry. Lord Cameron said the last time he was urged to end weapons sales to Israel when 3 Britons were killed in an airstrike on aid workers in Gaza. A few days later, there was a brutal attack by Iran on Israel. Just to simply announce today that we will change our approach on arms exports, it would make Hamas stronger, and it would make a hostage deal less likely, he adds. He said he wanted instead to focus on hammering away every day on getting humanitarian aid into Gaza. On Friday, the U.S. State Department released an investigation which found Israel may have used American-supplied weapons in breach of international humanitarian law during the war in Gaza. Pressed on whether he agreed with the findings, Lord Cameron said Israel's performance is not good enough, arguing Israel has not had a clean bill of health on allowing humanitarian aid into the country. But the UK has a different approach, and Lord Cameron said he was not really interested in message sending through political moves like ending weapons sales. Lord Cameron said, "I'm interested in what can we do to maximize the British pressure and the outcome that will help people in their lives, including getting the hostages, including British nationals, released." He argued putting British boots on the ground in Gaza as part of international efforts to deliver aid would be a risk that we should not take. Aiding war crimes Labour MP Zahra Sultana accused the government of not following its own rules by supplying weapons to Israel. The government's strategic export licensing criteria prevents weapons sales if there is a clear risk that the items might be used to commit or facilitate a serious violation of international humanitarian law. Ms. Sultana said the scale of arms sales to Israel does not matter. "We are aiding and abetting what are war crimes happening on a daily basis," she told the BBC. Labour's position on Gaza has shifted since Hamas's the 7th of October attacks sparked a full-blown Israeli military operation in the area. Last year, 10 Labour frontbenchers quit over the party's failure to call for a ceasefire in Gaza, as it instead backed a humanitarian pause to allow aid to flood into the country. But in February, Labour began calling for an immediate ceasefire after the situation in Gaza evolved. Mr. Ashworth, a senior member of the Shadow Cabinet, said he did not want to see British-made weapons used in an invasion in Rafah. "A full-scale offensive into Rafah will be a catastrophe beyond description," he said. He called on the government to publish the legal advice it has been given on arms sales to Israel. Kindly like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments section.